Okay, welcome everybody. Let me just turn on the screen over here. It's going to be desktop right here. Beautiful. Okay, welcome everybody. This is going to be a simulation session, and we're going to go over some very basic concepts, right? And those concepts are going to be mostly like how to breaking down the high time frames and then going down to lower time frames and then identifying where to take trades and identify profit targets and all that stuff. Will this be recorded? No, this is not being recorded at all. So let me just put this here. This is not being recorded. All right. Let's put it right over there. Awesome. Perfect. So first of all, what we do is we basically bring on a random date. So we're going to do random date generator. We're going to go over here and we're going to generate a random date. And what we're going to do is we're going to generate around 10 dates at this time. We're going to go from 2020, January 2020, and we're going to go all over till, let's do like March, April, February 2021. Go from like till like 27th February 2021. Okay, that's good. We only want Sundays because Sundays is the only time market is open, so we're going to look at that. Sundays, and yeah, I guess this is good enough. Let's get the dates over here. So these are the dates we got right over here. So we got March, April, May, June, October. We got January. We got February 2021. Let's go with I don't know. You guys have any suggestions? Oh, we got February. We got October. Okay. Let's go with October. Let's go with 4th October. Yeah, let's go with 4th October then. Perfect. 4th October it is. I hope that week is not a ranging week. October was ranging. Okay, we'll try. We'll try 4th October, and if we see there's going to be some ranging, then recent please as market has been weird. We can't do weird market because doing weird market there's no learning at that point because there's no trades, and when there's no trade, we don't learn anything, right? So we can't do that. So we're gonna go with October here, 10th October. All right. So we're gonna go over here. We're gonna choose pound yen. We're gonna go with, let's do over here 2021 October. Weird days are character building days. Yes, we all can build character in silence. Let's start with 5,000. 5,000, we're going to choose New York close. So the date has been set. We've chosen the pair up over here. We've chosen the amount we're going to go with. We're going to change the leverage over here. So we're going to choose the 500 leverage, which I basically use. Spread is going to be variable spread. Currency is pound yen. That's totally fine. History and charts, we want to see around 120 days in the charts right here. So perfect. So we're going to start simulation here. Okay, so we got this, and from here, now what we got to do is we got to load up the charts. And the way we're going to load up the charts is we're going to go to charts. We're going to go towards weekly. We're going to add weekly. Then we're going to add the daily. We're going to add the 4 hour. We're going to add the 1 hour, 30 minute, and 15-minute right here. That's it, right? So now once we got these charts loaded onto the system, from here we have to load it onto the screen. So we're going to open the 15-minute chart, 30-minute, and 1 hour. Oh, okay. 4 hour, daily, and weekly. Perfect. There we go. We got our charts up. Now we got to change the templates one by one. Go towards the daily chart, change the template. Go towards the 4 hour, change the template, naked template. Someone may ask, hey, how'd you get the naked template? It's pretty easy. So what you do is, let's say you have this chart right over here. What you want to do is you want to go to properties. No, actually, yeah, you want to go to properties and you want to go to colors, right? So change whatever you want to change here. Let's say if I'm changing nothing and all I want to do is just remove these indicators, right? So if I go towards the indicator right here, right click it, delete indicator, delete indicator, delete indicator, and from here I can do save. I go to templates and then I go to save template. I can write whatever name I want to write and then save it, right? And that name is gonna come up right here as naked, like if you choose that there. And then we go towards the 15-minute chart, and then we do naked charts. Perfect, right? This is what we got at this point. So from here, what's this? If you think anything is important to you, can you please let us know so people that are taking notes can know? Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell you everything here. So basically, first of all, let's talk about. So this is Sunday, right? Sunday is when markets are open. So let's talk about this gap right over here. Right? Now, usually sometimes what happens is that we see gaps that are basically like, gap can happen sometime right down over here, right down over here. But at this point, we have a gap happening right over here. So the question is, why do gaps happen? Now, of course, some people already know this, but for people who don't know this, the reason why gaps happen is because price is moving all the time. And the reason why price is moving all the time is because fundamentals are happening at all times of the day. On the weekends, we don't see price move because the brokers are closed. When the brokers are closed, they don't have access to the market. When they don't have access to the market, we as traders, we don't have access to the market or the current price, right? So whenever market opens, you'll see a gap, right? And the way you're going to see a gap is because that's when the brokers, they're getting the next best price from the market. So let's say on Friday, they closed at 136, 130, and then when Sunday market opened, the next best price they got was at 136,090, right? So that's why we see gaps happen. But it's not really important. Like, some people say gaps are gonna get filled, so they trade gaps. I mean, the spreads are high at that point, so I try not to trade gaps at those points. Okay, so let's go to. So what we're going to do is the trading plan over here for the simulation is going to be working the pre-New York session all the way till London close. That's going to be the trading plan here. So that's what we're going to focus on at this point. So let's go towards our New York session. So first of all, before we go towards our New York session, the important thing we need to identify is that the time, right? So this says 000 100 hours. This means that this is 5 p.m. Eastern at this point. So when we go by 1 hour, right, we go to the next bar, this is 6 p.m. Eastern. This is 7, 8, 9, 10 p.m. Eastern, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. This is London Open at this time. Okay, so one thing I'm going to do is I'm probably going to mute everyone over here as well. And I'm just going to make sure being recorded on computer. Okay, what platform are we using? If you don't know the platform, then this is basically MetaTrader. Okay, right, so this is London Open, 3 a.m., 4, 5, 6. This is 6 a.m. Eastern right now. The main thing about simulation sessions is that, like, you can basically backtest your own sessions and see how price moves during that point. So this is what we're gonna work on here today. So looking at the weekly is basically going bullish at this time. We had a bearish move, but now it seems like we're coming up at this time. We're also creating some sort of a resistance up over here. So we got to break this down to a daily time frame. So the whole agenda is looking at the high time frames and then working our way towards the smaller time frames, and then to see if we can get some trades in those sessions or not. So looking at the daily time frame has really come up over here. We've came up to a kind of like a wick fill. Now we don't know whether price will reject this area or will we continue moving bullish here. So let's take a look on the 4-hour here now. 4-hour, basically what's happening on the 4-hour is what we see currently right now is that we're creating, actually let me bring these up over here. So let me bring up my time frames, bring up line studies. Okay, perfect. We got the line studies right here. So the first thing we can identify is that there was a resistance on the 4-hour. I'm not sure if you guys can see this. Let me zoom in here a little bit. And let me just do a scale fix really quick. All right, perfect. So first thing we can identify is that there was a resistance formed on the 4-hour right over here, right? We had a resistance formed, and this 4-hour candle, it broke above this resistance. If it broke above this resistance, and when we take a look to the left-hand side, on the left-hand side, we have a clean candle to the left right over here, right? So now the probability is that if we're moving in pre-New York session has a lot of volume at this time. So whenever there's a lot of volume, it's there's a very high probability price are going to continue moving bullish. So if we look on the 4-hour right here, we can kind of like anticipate the next 4-hour candle to continue moving bullish, but we have no confirmations yet. So for confirmations, if we think the 4-hour is going to move bullish, we need confirmations from the smaller time frame, from the 1 hour time frame, 30-minute time frame. So that's something we're going to look at it right now, because looking at it from a price action perspective on the 4 hour time frame, it does seem like we should be moving bullish from this point. So let's take a look on the 1 hour here. So now that we're looking at the 1 hour time frame, we can kind of like identify that, okay, on the 1 hour time frame, we basically broke above this resistance. We're making a high over here, and there's a probability now for price to maybe come down and then continue to move bullish, right? That's the probability at this point. And if it does happen, I think that's going to be a pretty good move for price to continue moving up. And that's something we're going to focus on here today. So first of all, we need price to come down, create support, and then to continue moving bullish. That's what we want at this point. Let's take a look on the 30-minute here. Let's clone this zone over to the 30-minute time frame. Now looking at the 30-minute, man, this looks like much better here too, for price to make a high, come down, create support, and then continue to move up. So that's something we're going to wait here for today. Yeah, so I guess other than that, it's just going to be like a lot of waiting, I guess. Let's take a look on the 1 hour time frame here. So we're waiting for candles to form, kind of like break down, and then we can continue on to see where we're going to head off to. All right, so we're coming down here. We're breaking below this area. So remember, we need candles to break above, to close above this area 136,660 for price to continue moving bullish. That's what we want at this point. So far, there's no confirmation. We need a candle to close bullish. So see, the 30-minute candle has closed bullish at this time. No, actually, this is still open, right? We're just creating a support here. The bias is bullish right now, right? Bias is bullish. We broke above this area. Now we can identify that this 30-minute candle, look how this 30-minute candle, it closed above the support. So there's no sells. The only way we can take sells is if this candle closes below the support for price to continue moving down to this support right here to the left hand side. But if you do continue pushing bullish, I think there's a very high probability price can continue moving up from this area. So that's something we're waiting for at this point. So right now, we still got some time left in the 30-minute candle to close. I think our entire confirmation. So in this simulation, our entire confirmations are going to be based on the basic, like the 1 hour time frame, 30-minute time frame, because obviously we want a 1 hour candle to close above this resistance we formed, right? Now, this candle breaking up at this point, it does not mean price is going to go up. Is the sound okay for you? Yes, I think sound is working fine. So basically what happened is, if you want to tell a story off of candles, what we can see is that this candle broke above this resistance, bullish candle. We had a bearish candle forming right here. When you have a bearish candle forming, that means there's a resistance formed at this point. So now we need a candle to kind of like close bullish to give us a confirmation that we can continue moving up. So that's the only thing we're waiting for at this point. So I think it's going to be a good idea to kind of wait for the 1 hour candle to close bullish to give us that confirmation. So the 1 hour candle has closed. You can see how the 1 hour candle closed, right? It closed a bearish doji candle. So there's no confirmations at this point. Can we have access to the simulator? I think you can look at the name at the bottom right here. Right there. All right, perfect. So at this point, we want the 1 hour candle to kind of like close bullish to give us a confirmation. Also, if you look on the 30-minute, it's very apparent that we have a resistance right over here. And you can see where candles are closing here, right? On the 30-minute time frame, you can see we formed this candle closed weak bullish candle. So whenever you have candles that close weak bullish candle, this means the volume going bullish is dying a little bit, right? And then you got a bearish candle, which means we got resistance formed. This candle closed bullish. but it closed below resistance. We need the candle to close above resistance for price to continue up. That's all what we're waiting for at this point to take a buy position. And since we're taking buys here, we also need to identify what is our target. So let's take a look on the 1 hour time frame here, and let's see what our target is. So I think looking to the left hand side, our target could be somewhere over, let's bring up my charting right here. So I think a target could be somewhere over in this area right here, 137,370, which is around 40 to 50 pips away. Because look, if we break above this resistance, you can look to the right hand side. There's a huge range for price to cover all the way up towards, like around 40, 50 pips away. So that's going to be our target right there. So that's what we're waiting for at this point. We're waiting for price to kind of like break above this resistance so we can take a buy and have a good day. And also you can look at the time over here. We're about 45 minutes away from NY open at this point. So we're kind of like waiting right now. See the 30-minute? We're not really breaking above this area. We have a resistance formed and we have a support formed. Unless we break the support, we're not going down. Unless we break this resistance up over here, we're not going up. So see now price is ranging at this point. Price is just ranging over here. A lot of consolidation. The 1 hour candle is about to close, which is pretty awesome. And we got to wait to see how the 1 hour candle closes at this point. So we're still moving up. Oh, wow, look at that. Just rejection there. Straight range. There's no trade in this range here. You can see the time here. This candle is about to close in 2 minutes. And there we go. So this is the NY open at this point. Right? So looking at the 30-minute time frame, you can see how candles are printing side by side. So whenever candles are printing side by side, that means price is just ranging at this point. Looking on the 1 hour time frame, it's still kind of like, so now look at the way the story is going on the 1 hour time frame here, right? So we had a good bullish candle, great momentum going up. We had another bullish candle, great momentum going up. The bias is buys here. If you look on the 4 hour time frame, let me show you the 4 hour here. Look at the 4 hour, right? 4 hour close above resistance. So that means the bias is buys, but we need confirmations on the small time frames. Looking at daily is also bullish, so that's what we're waiting for at this point. So going back to the 1 hour time frame, we had strong bullish candle on the 1 hour right here. Then we had a bearish candle on the 1 hour. We had another bearish candle at the 1 hour. Now look to see how the momentum is changing here. But look at this small bullish candle. Small bullish candle means that maybe there's some bullish momentum coming into the market, right? But we need a candle to close above this resistance. So since this is the NY open at this point, this means there should be some sort of volume at this point for price to continue up. So that's something we're going to identify here now. So we basically need a candle to close above that resistance to give us some sort of a confirmation that we will continue moving bullish. So that's what we're basically waiting for over here. So we can see here. Now, this is the point which is going to be really, really interesting at this point, right? Since price is consolidating, right? Let's take a look on the 30-minute here as well. Since price is consolidating, and if this 1 hour candle breaks above the high of the previous 1 hour candle, I think that's going to be a very good opportunity to take kind of like an impulse entry for price to continue moving bullish, right? And then maybe we can have a chance to maybe add positions to our trade. So that's something we're going to be looking at this point, right? If we break above the high of the bullish candle right here, I think there's a probability for price to continue moving up. And then we're going to talk about the stop loss once we start breaking the high. But if we don't break the high, then there's no impulse entry. So it's a very, very delicate situation. Oh, wow, look at that. See that? We're coming down. But also look at the time, right? Also look at the time. The time is very important. If you look at the time, the first half of this 1 hour candle is about to close. There we go. The first half of the 1 hour candle has closed, which means the 30-minute candle has closed right over here. So now we're going to go back to the 1 hour time frame right here, and then we're going to wait to see if it breaks the high or not. We're coming up, coming down. Are we going to break the high? Are we not going to break that? Right there. Look at that. We broke the high on the 1 hour candle, right? This is a perfect time to take an impulse entry. Now, the reason why is going to be because if you look at this 1 hour candle and if you look at the time, right, this is the second half of the 1 hour candle, which means that if in the first half, the 1 hour candle made a low over here and it's now breaking the high, this means there's a very high probability that this candle is now going to continue moving bullish from this point, right? There's a higher probability. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to execute a buy position at this point. We're going to risk about, I think we should risk about 1.5%, right? Totally, we're going to risk 2%. So we're going to add 1.5%. The stop is going to be below the current 1 hour candle, which is around, 18 pips over here. Okay, yeah, this makes sense. 18 pip stop for price to continue moving bullish. I think that's okay. So this is an impulse entry we executed on right here. So let's look at the trade here. We're going to keep an eye on the trade over here. And we want at least around, 1 to 1, something like that. So we're going to leave this trade open at this point. And we're going to wait for the 1 hour candle to close because we took this trade based on a 1 hour time frame. So we're going to wait for the 1 hour candle to close over here. We got about 10 minutes left for the 1 hour candle to close, and then we're going to identify if we can add another position to this trade or not. Why not below the 30-minute? Because we're taking it on the 1 hour time frame. Okay, perfect. Look at this, right? Just look at this, so beautiful. Look how the 1 hour candle closed above resistance here. Now, just by looking at this, don't you think there's a very high probability for price to continue moving bullish at this time? I think so, right? So let's take a look on the 30-minute and see if we have some sort of a, oh yeah, I think we can add another position here, having stops below the 30-minute candle right over here, right? We can add a position right here because the 30-minute candle has also closed above resistance. So I think this is a very, very good opportunity for us to add another position. Let's say add 0.5, and we're going to put our stops below this candle, which is around 15 pips right here. We're going to take a buy. At the same time, what we're going to do is we're going to modify the stop loss from the first position and bring it below the 30-minute candle here as well. Yeah, right? Perfect. Makes perfect sense over here. And then we're going to let it run. If it continues up, perfect. If it comes down, then we're going to learn a lesson at this point. Oh, wow, look at that. 17, 15, 14 pips at this point, right? So 16 pips on the first position. Let's see here. The candle is still open at this point. The 1 hour candle is still open. And I guess what we can do is probably let's just wait for the 30-minute candle to close because the bias here is still bullish. Probably if we continue on towards, 137.040 or around to like, 137.250, I think that's going to be a pretty good idea. So I guess what we're going to do is we're going to close out partial positions on the first one, right? Since we're up 17 pips over here. So we're going to close about 80% of that position at this point. We're going to close it. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring our stops to break even at this point. And I think, oh, actually, we closed the wrong position. No, that's fine. And then we're going to leave the rest running over here. And once the 30-minute candle closes, I think then we can modify our stop loss on the first one to bring it up here a little bit too. There we go. The 30-minute candle has closed. You can see where it has closed, right? So at this point, we can modify our stop and bring it below the 30-minute candle right over here. Beautiful. So we're up 20 pips. So maybe we can close another partial right here. Close like around 80%. And yeah, that's it. We're going to leave it running. We're going to leave it running till London closed, and then we're going to close all the trades. If we get stopped out, we get stopped out, but it is what it is. Looking on the 4-hour time frame, we're moving up over here. Looking to the left-hand side, we have clean range here to the left-hand side. So I think it's a very good opportunity for price to continue on till like, 137.500. Yeah, so this candle is about to close over here in about 8 simulation minutes. 5 simulation minutes. Oh, it looks like our position is going to get stopped out. Oh, position got stopped out. But we still got one position in. That's totally fine. kind of sad our position got stopped out. If you press the three dot button next to the play pause one, you can have it stop at a certain point once it touches it. Oh, interesting. So if you guys took the stream, if you guys took this trade on the stream, give a like on the stream. Yeah, y'all just hoping the market will go up. No, there's no hope. We broke down the entire trade. We waited for everything, and then, like, obviously we executed on that. So perfect. So we're gonna let it run till London close. London close is going to be here in about 40 minutes, and after that we're gonna close this trade, and then we're gonna move on towards the next New York session here. All right, let's speed it up here a little bit. We're going to speed it up. We're going to let the candle close. Looking at a 30-minute time frame, you can see the 30-minute candles are closing bullish, which is still pretty good. This trade is running at like 20 pips, 17, 20, fluctuating there. The candle is about to close very, very soon here, and then we're going to move on towards our next New York session. Perfect. So candle close at this point. We're going to close out this trade. First session here got about 1.4%. Pretty good. Made $74 on a $5,000 account. So let's move on to the next New York session at this point. So let's move on to our, oh wow, look at that. Still moving up over here. Interesting. Did you take an impulse entry? Yes. All right. Okay, so let's move on. So this is the Asian session, and you can see how in the Asian session we're kind of like ranging here, right? Because there's less volume normally in the Asian sessions here. There's less volume over here. So we're going to move on towards, so this is London Open over here. London Open, 3 a.m., 4, 5, 6. This is 6 a.m. Eastern at this point right over here, right? 6 a.m. Eastern. This is what we're looking at right now. So let's remove all analysis here, just like we do all the time. And what we're going to try to figure out is we're going to try to figure out what's happening with this scenario here. So let's break this down from the higher time frame, which is going to be the daily time frame, and then we're going to move on towards, like, the lower time frame. So let's also take a look at the news here too. So based on news, we don't even have, like, there's no news at this point, so it's whatever. Looking at the weekly is basically bullish. Looking at daily is bullish. Now we don't know whether this daily candle is gonna continue down, or will it continue to move up. That's something we don't know right now, right? So let's take a look on the 4-hour time frame. So 4-hour time frame seems like we're coming down over here. Also, it seems like the 4-hour time frame, if it's coming down, it's basically creating a resistance, which we can see from this point, right? So we got a resistance formula. So now what we're going to do is we're going to identify the bias, right? So looking at the resistance here, we basically rejected it heavy, because look how many candles rejected this area. You had one candle stopped over here. You had 2, 3, 4. The fifth candle tried to break up, but it came all the way back inside the range. So basically created support, and then we rejected this resistance, and now we broke this down to potential wick fill at this time, and maybe to potentially come down to this wick, or maybe down to this support. That may happen. So we're going to take a look at those ideas here now. So let's remove all analysis over here. We're going to remove all these analysis. And let's take a look at the 1-hour time frame here and see what's going on. So on the 1-hour time frame, we basically broke below the support. This candle is closing with no wick at the bottom. So when a candle closes with no wick at the bottom, there's a 50-50 chance that price are going to go up or down, right? But what we've seen is, can we sell now? Well, Firas, if you haven't gone through the database, you should know that a candle that closes with no wick, it basically means a 50-50 chance. So let's measure this wick here, right? So this is like a 14 pip wick. If price does come down, we can get 14 pips. But eventually, I mean, if it does continue moving bearish, I think this is a great opportunity for price to come down to this area right over here, right? Because this is the support which we created yesterday in the New York session where price moved up. So if we do continue down to fill this wick and continue down to this zone, just like a 30 pip range over here. So our bias at this point is sells right now, right? So now we got to identify this on the 30-minute time frame and see what's going on the 30-minute time frame, and we're going to see if we can get some sort of a selling opportunity here or not. So looking at the 30-minute time frame, what we have is that we have another candle that closed with no wick over here. And if we do break this low, now this is the thing about candle closing with no wick. This is very important. When you have a 1 hour candle closes with no wick, right? Two things can happen at that point. The number one thing can happen is that the next candle may make a top wick and then continue down, or the next candle can straight up continue down without making a top wick, right? The way to tackle candles with no wicks is that you need the next candle to make a top wick first. If the next candle makes a top wick first, and then if it starts breaking the lows to continue down, I believe that's going to be a better trade to take for price to continue down, right? And that's where we can basically execute a trade. But if the next candle just starts breaking down without making a top wick, then there's no trade at that point because there's no confirmations there. So that's what we're going to anticipate over here. I mean, if a candle makes a top wick, then probably we can enter a trade. But if it doesn't make a top wick and just continues bearish, then it is what it is. Ooh, the gulag is going crazy over here today. This is why you guys don't get a lot of things for free. All right. See now, if this candle starts breaking down without making top wick, then it is what it is, right? Then there's no trade at that point. So that's what we're going to wait for over here. Right, we got to slow it down over here too. We got to slow it down because sometimes it moves super fast. Oh wow, look at that. See, it's coming up over here now. It's moving up bullish. Let's take a look on the 30-minute time frame. 30-minute time frame also moving bullish. What's happening on the 30-minute time frame is that we broke below the support, right? This candle broke below support. This candle moved back up. This candle did a retest. This candle is now giving some sort of a momentum for price to move down. And if we do continue breaking below this low, I think we can continue down to the support at 136,650, which is around 20 to 25 pips away. So let's take a look at this over here on the 1 hour time frame. Oh, we're coming down over here slowly. The 30-minute candle is also about to close. We're looking at the time over here, guys. Listen, remember, we're looking at the time here. We're waiting for the 30-minute candle to close. Wow, look at that. There's no confirmation yet. 30-minute candle is about to close, right? 30-minute candle is about to close in 3, 2, 1. Perfect. 30-minute candle has closed a weak bullish candle. Right? It has closed a weak bullish candle. What does this mean in terms of bullish volume? Right? A weak bullish candle means a weak bullish volume. What's this? In impulse entries, even if the candle closed with a wick, it's better to wait for the first half. No, it's not better to wait for the first half. We're only talking about candles with no wicks. You know, that first half and second half, it totally depends on experience. Sometimes, you know, price continues moving in the first half, sometimes it moves in the second half. So that comes from how much have you seen that happen. You know, the way how I came up with impulse entries was because I looked at the same thing for months, for 6 to 7 months. And then I was able to correctly identify, oh, maybe these things work, or maybe those things don't work. You know, so it takes time. So here's what's going on, right? The 30-minute candle closed like a weak bullish candle, which means there's a high probability for price to continue down. Now, one way to enter would be to wait for this low to break for price to move down. But if we wait for this low to break, our profit target is around 209. I would say like 200 pips at this point. That's going to be our potential target point at this area right here. So I think that's something we can wait for at this point for price to continue down. Let's take a look on the 15-minute time frame here. 15-minute time frame. Now, this is the point where we can now include the 15-minute time frame in our selling analysis. Now, let's take a look at this on the 1 hour, right? So I want you guys to really listen to this really carefully. The 1 hour candle has 1 30-minute left for it to move. The bias is bearish at this time. Do we have confirmations on the 1 hour time frame? No, we don't. If we look on the 30-minute time frame, we don't have any confirmations yet until we break below the low at this point, and then the bias will be bearish. But if you look on the 15-minute time frame, I think 15-minute time frame gives us a much solid confirmation that if this candle breaks the lows over here, there's a very high probability for price to not only fill this wick, but to fill this wick and to continue down to the support we have identified on the 1 hour time frame. Right? So the entry is going to be on the 15-minute time frame with the bias based off the 30-minute and the 1 hour. So we gotta wait. Oh, look at this. So we gotta wait for the 15-minute candle to break the lows. Once we break the low, I think right there. See, we're breaking the low over here. So I think this is where we can basically execute a trade, a sell trade. But first thing we need to identify is a stop loss. So I think a good stop is going to be, let's see here. I don't want it to be above this wick. I mean, if we do, let's see, our target. Yeah, I think that would make sense. So stop is going to be around 17 pips over here. We're going to use a 17 pip stop. And we're going to enter, let's say, our full 2%, right? Because we're risking 2% per trade here. So we're going to do a sell. We're taking the sell based on a 15-minute breaking the low. And if we do continue moving down, then we can basically bring our stop down here as well. So that's the whole idea. Oh, a little bit of a retracement, a little bit of a drawdown. Doesn't hurt anyone. Oh yeah, perfect. We're moving down now. Awesome. Let's keep an eye on the 30-minute. Oh, I think what else we can do is we can maybe add another position once we break the low on the 30-minute at this point right here, having the stops above this 30-minute and anticipate it to really drive down. Yeah, I think that's going to be a good idea. So far we're just struggling over here, not really moving. So we're just going to stay patient here until we break the low. And we're coming down. Oh, it moved way too fast. It moved way too fast. That's okay. Oh, wow. Okay, so we got a bonus trade over here. Perfect. So we're going to close partials at this point. Wasn't really expecting it to move this much, but it is what it is. So we're going to close 80%, securing positions, put stops at break even, and that's it. Letting the rest run. So you can see how we really waited. We really waited for price. We really waited to see on the smaller time frame. Look in the 15-minute time frame, and I mean it just played out just as we expected. Look on the 4-hour here too. We filled the wick, came down to the zone, and that's it. Was this news? I'm not sure. There's no news. Maybe could have been some breaking news somewhere, but you know can't really see anything at this point. So yeah, I think that was a pretty good trade over here. Price came down and basically did not really embarrass me here today. So that's pretty good. Had a winning trade. So if you guys took the trade in the gulag, give a like on the stream again. Perfect. And clapping for yourself. Do you always close 80% at 1-to-1? Yes, all the time. I always close 80% at 1-to-1. Awesome. So, oh, it's not even New York Open at this point. Perfect. So we took our one trade, and now what we're going to do is we're going to go over to our next trade. Hey, Raja, can you please do a fake out? How can I do a fake out when there's no fake out? Can we? I mean, come on, man. There's no fake out at this point. All right, perfect. So we're going to close this trade right here. Actually, we're going to leave it open, and let's move on to the next candle on the New York Open. Oh, wow, look at that. We're retracing. We're basically rejecting that same support area we rejected yesterday. All right, so let's close everything right here, and let's move on to our next session. Oh, wow, look at that. Went up, straight up. Okay, so now we're going to move on to our next New York session at this time. So we're moving towards Asian session. We're moving closer to London Open. This is London Open over here, right? London Open. 4, 5, 6. This is 6 a.m. Eastern right now. This is another day. In 2 days, we did around 5%. The first day, we did around 1.4%. Remember, Monday, we did 1.4%. And then Tuesday, we had a good move down that gave us around 3.5%, right? So sometimes we take less and sometimes we take more because the market moves that way. So we're all the way up to 5% right now. 2 days, we're about $252 at this point. So perfect. Let's move on. So this is the new session right over here. Let's take a look on the daily here once again. So now the previous daily candle moved bearish. We basically rejected this area. So basically what's happening is we're creating a resistance right here on the daily time frame. We're also creating a support right here on the daily time frame. So it's kind of like ranging, but if we measure this range on the daily time frame, we can identify that this is like a 140 pip range, pretty big range. So basically we can now break down the smaller time frames to see if we can get some sort of a trade here or not. All right, let's take a look on the 4-hour time frame over here. So looking on the 4-hour, what can we identify here? The first thing we can identify on the 4-hour time frame is that we created a support. This 4-hour candle broke down and this 4-hour candle came back above support right over here. So if it came back above support, there's a probability for the 4-hour candle to continue moving up in this range. Or if we break below the support on the smaller time frames, I think there's an opportunity for price to then continue moving bearish towards, like, this next support down over here. That can happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to identify that on the smaller time frames, and let's see where we can go from there. So looking at the 1 hour time frame, here we are. We have the same zone over here. Let's kind of like move this zone down over here. Perfect. So we got a support at this point right here. At this time, 1 hour candles basically made a high, came down, right? So what we got a range over here where price can maybe continue on to. But at the same time, we got to be cautious of the fact that, okay, maybe price can continue to range in this area. So we got to be very, very careful for this right here. Right, so let's take a look over here now. Let's take a look on the 30-minute time frame here. So 30-minute time frame is closing like a weak bullish candle. This is actually giving me an idea over here, right? People from Zoom, do you think if the next 30-minute candle can break below the bullish candle here, we can have a move down? Could that be a possibility? Oh yeah, that could be a very, very high possibility. We've seen that happen a lot of time, right? Impulse entries, clean traffic, and yeah, exactly, perfect. It's awesome, right? So we're gonna put this right over there. We're gonna remove this. Okay, so we're gonna remove this blue zone right over here, right? So on the 1 hour time frame, we really can't see it, but on the 30-minute time frame, we can see it clear as day. That if we break below the low over here, we can continue moving down, because what's happening right here is that we're creating a support, right? We're creating a support. And if we break support, price can continue moving down within this range. And I think that's going to be a very, very good setup to take. So that's what we're going to anticipate right over here. But at the same time, if we break above the high of the 30-minute time frame, then there's an opportunity for price to continue moving bullish. How many pip breaking is valid to you? Oh, just if it breaks below the low over here, that's absolutely valid at that point. So we're going to wait to see over here what happens, right? So this trade is going to be executed on the 30-minute time frame. So see, we haven't really broken the low. We're just moving in this range over here, right? And we got our resistance right over here. So if we break above this resistance, there's a very high probability for price to continue up towards the next resistance, which is like 20 pips away. But if we break below the support, there's an opportunity for price to continue down in this 25 pip range over here. So let's take a look over here now. So we're going to wait when we break the low. See, right now we're just waiting over here because price is ranging. We're waiting around. Right there, perfect. See, we're breaking the low over here, right? We're breaking the low at this point. Thought we need 30-minute candle to close below. Well, we're breaking the low over here. This is impulse entries. Impulse entries, they take a lot of experience. They take a lot of practice to kind of like understand how they will work. So what's happening here is this 30-minute candle, it's breaking the low of the previous 30-minute candle, but it's also respecting the high of the previous 30-minute candle. So there's a higher probability for it to continue moving down. And the reason why is if we kind of like break this down on the candle side, so this is how a trend basically moves. A trend makes lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, and lower lows, right? We all can agree that that's how the trend is made. But if you look at the candles, the way candles make trend is something like this. You have a candle that closed bearish. If you want the next candle to go bearish, it's going to make a lower low and a lower high, and the next candle will also make a lower low and a lower high. So you can look right over here. We have a higher high over here, we have a lower high, we have a lower high, and we have a lower low, and we have a lower low. So if this candle is breaking the low over here, there's a high probability it's going to make a lower low. So this is why we take impulse entries, right? That's how this idea was brought forward, the impulse entry ideas. So I think we can have a stop above this 30-minute candle, maybe a little above, like 16 pips, 17 pips. I think 17 pips is fine. So I'm going to take a sell position over here and let the trade run. Of course, we get in a drawdown. I guess that's totally fine. All right, look at that. We're coming down over here. Beautiful. We're 7 pips, 8 pips. These are signature entries, signature trades that do happen all the time. Wow, beautiful move over here. 15, 16, 18 pips over here. Going to close partials. Going to take profits off of 80% right over here. Bring stops to break even and let the rest run. That's it. If you look at the support of the previous zone, there happened the same. There was small bullish candle. The next candle broke low. Would you do the same? Would you do the same? Like right here? Right here, it was a different scenario here. This was based on, I think yeah, this was a different time. This was a different scenario, you know. So we came down to the support and we're bouncing off of this support here as well now. So yeah, I think this played out really, really well the way we anticipated here. Our stops are at break even, and I mean, it is. The only thing is we waited for the perfect confirmation. That's it. That's it. One trade, one session. That's all you need. We didn't overtrade. We didn't over risk. We only risked 1 to 2% per trade, right? 1 to 2% per trade, and look at the gain over here, 7%. It's still running at 7.2%, 7%. Amazing, right? First day we had 1.4% gain. Second day we had around 3.5% gain, and now we have another 2% something, 2.5 or 2.8, just like that, right? So we broke the low. Every trade was explained, right? What would mean when price breaks the high? What would mean when price breaks the low? Oh wow, look at that. I guess we're moving down over here. So we can maybe modify our stop loss above this 30-minute candle and maybe close another 80% at this point, and that's it. Perfect. I mean the support at 800. Support at 800. Oh, right up over. Oh, right here. Right here. Um, yes, but that was another time. You know, that was like in pre-London. Obviously, then we had to break above these wicks over here too for price to move up. But yes, it's the same. It's the same idea. How can we manage our trade on an impulse entry? Should we be more reactive to look for specific things? Yes. So basically, let's say that if this candle from here we entered start to move bullish, right? If it start to move bullish, then you're looking at the 15-minute candles. If the 15-minute candle closes bullish, then you can manage your trade over there. You know, you can close 50%. You can close 80%, whatever you want to close. Do you always take continuation trades? Yes. Are impulse entries better during volume time? Yes, because in impulse entries, you're really anticipating price to, oh, wow, look at this, the 4 hour. 4 hour broke below. We looked at confirmation on small time frames and we moved bearish. So awesome trade over here. So let's close this here and let's move on to the next hour and see what happens. Oh, look at that. Ranging, right? See that? Ranging. So you gotta just take profits. Take profits, call it a day, and then wait for the next day. So now we're going to move on to the next session at this point, and let's see what we can find over here. Holy, look at that. We're still moving up over here. Now we're ranging. See, now look at the time. This is New York afternoon time. This is where people get stuck in trades because look how the candles are moving, printing side by side. There's no volume at this time, right? So move to the Asian session. Asian session also ranging a little bit. Let's move on towards your London session at this point now. So this is London Open right here. London Open, 3 a.m. Eastern. Let's zoom out here a little bit. This is London Open. Where can I get the simulation? It's literally written on the screen. I don't think you should be trading if you can't read text on the screen, to be honest. Okay, 3 a.m., 4, 5, 6. 6 a.m. Eastern right over here. And so this is normally the time when I come to the charts at 6 a.m. Eastern. So what we got to do is we got to take a look at the weekly time frame and let's see what's going on. So weekly is still bullish at this time. Looking on the daily time frame, daily is basically, wow, look at that. We're rejecting that resistance on the daily time frame. So let's take a look at that on the 4-hour time frame. So looking on the 4-hour, we're rejecting the resistance here again. Right, so now 4-hour is in a possible range, right? So if we want to kind of like do some fresh analysis over here, what we can identify is that we're basically rejecting resistance here. It's very normal. We can see it. There's no denying that fact. And at the same time, we got a support down over here, right? So can basically clone this over to the 1 hour time frame, and let's see what's going on the 1 hour time frame. So looking at the 1 hour time frame, I think what we can identify is that there is basically a support right over here. And I don't think there's any trade at this point. I mean, the only thing we can identify is that we broke this support, right? We all can identify this as a support. We broke the support for price to continue down, and now we're in this range. And if you measure this range, this is a 22 to 23 pip range. Now, this is a very, very difficult range. And the reason why I say this is a difficult range is that, I mean, we have a support down over here, prices in the middle of a range. We can't take a buy, we can't take a sell because, I mean, it's just not making any sense at this point. Difference between this simulation and actual market scenario, there's no difference. There's no difference at all, you know. It's the same market pattern, the same everything that happens. So let's remove all the analysis from the 30-minute time frame here. Remove this. Oh, remove this. Remove. We're gonna remove. So we're going to remove all the analysis here, and we're going to do the same analysis on a 30-minute time frame. So we got a support over here. Price is coming into a consolidation area, so we don't know. Now, this is something very important, right? We see a big candle moving, we can't take a sell. Because if we had to take a sell, this big candle was the trade we should have taken at this point. But since we're moving into a consolidation area, all we can do is just wait. You know, because now if let's say price comes down to the support, right? Let's say if price comes down to the support and creates a support. If price creates a support and we have clean candle here to the left hand side, don't you think that's going to be a much better idea to take a buy if we get some sort of a good confirmation here? I think so, because right now there's no trade. We're in a consolidation area, so all we can do is just wait. Basically, we can just wait over here. There's nothing happening at this point. Looking at the 15-minute time frame, there's nothing. This was a good move down over here, which could have been the trade, but obviously we weren't looking at the charts at that time. And even if we break below this low, our support is like 9 pips away. You know, so that's not even enough trade to take. It's not even enough range to take a trade. So yeah, I guess we're just waiting over here now. Would you have taken that sell after the big candle broke the low? Maybe. You know, because if we broke below the low, our support is like 9 pips away. You know, so at this point, we're just waiting right now. We got about 30 minutes left here for this candle to close. And we're going to see how it basically closes. Looking on the 4 hour, 4 hours also bouncing off of the support. Yeah, look at the 30-minute here too. So see, so this is a ranging area right over here. There's nothing we can do at this point. So whenever, so you know, like sometimes you can have really good volume days, and sometimes you can just have ranging days, and you just gotta accept that. It is what it is at that point. See, now there's a lot of volatility here. We're just waiting for these candles to close. Oh, uh-oh. My system is getting slow over here. Something's going on. All right. Oh, wow, look at that. We're breaking down over here. Damn. Yeah, it looks like this is going to be the day where we're just going to miss out on trades. All right. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can get. So we had one trade on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? We had all those trades. So right now we're running into some sort of an issue over here. So we broke below this support right here, right? We broke below the support right here. If we can close above this support, I think there's a probability for price to continue moving bullish. And at the same time, if we can break below this low, then we can continue moving down. I'm not sure why people do these lines, but all right. Awesome. So we're just waiting for this 30-minute candle to close. We got about 4 minutes left over here, And once this 30-minute candle closes, we're going to try to see if we can do something about buys over here at this point. All right, so 30-minute candle has closed. So looking at the 30-minute time frame, 30-minute is basically creating a low over here, and at the same time, we're respecting this resistance where price is basically closing below it. So we got to wait over here. So I think the only thing we can identify here now is that if we break below the support, right, there's a very high possibility for price to continue down, right? You can see here to the left hand side, there's clean candles to the left hand side, and if we break below the support, we can continue moving bearish. If we close above this resistance, then there's a possibility for price to kind of like correct this move down that happened in London session. So at this point, we're just waiting. Will this be left on YouTube to view later? No, it will not be left on YouTube to view later. So yeah, we're just waiting over here. Even if you get a 30-minute candle closing above this range, I think that's going to be a pretty good idea for price to continue moving bullish. So we shall see, mate, what happens here. Let's take a look on the 1 hour time frame. Yeah, 1 hour candle is still open over here. These candles are about to close in about 15 minutes. This is a delicate situation now. This is kind of like, this is really hard analysis right now. Tuesday was easy. Wednesday was also easy. Moving into Thursday is getting pretty hard. I mean, if we break below this low, we can continue down 100%. Oh, look at that. 1 hour candle closed bullish, but it closed below this support over here, right? Looking at the 30-minute time frame, we're also closing below the support. The only thing we have in our favor, is that if this candle breaks the high right over here, for price to continue up to correct this move down. That's the only thing. Or if we start breaking below the low over here, for price to continue down because we have clean range here to the left hand side. That's the only thing we have at this point, right? So yeah, we'll just see what happens. Oh, look at that. We're breaking the high over here. So we're breaking the high. I think that's going to be a pretty good idea for price to continue moving bullish and execute a buy at this position. So since we're already up 7.6%, what we're going to do is we're going to go with 1% risk over here, right? 1% risk. Our stops are around, let's say like 16 pips. We're going to take a buy position. Oh, actually, let's bring it down over here. Yeah, right here, around 17, 18, and we're looking for price to continue up in this range over here. Perfect. This is a very difficult entry over here, impulse entry. We're executing for price to continue up. This candle is about to close. Oh, actually, this is NY open, New York open at this point. Beautiful. Right. You usually want like 1-to-1. We're making a wick up over there, which is totally fine. We're going to see how this 30-minute candle basically closes. And oh wow, look at that. Look at that. Look what happened over here. Can this be an opportunity to enter another position? Can we add another trade based on this time frame here? Oh, someone said no, someone said yes. Uh-oh. Let's take a look on the 15-minute time frame here. We can't. Because the 15-minute is bearish at this point. We're rejecting that area over there. We cannot add another trade over here. You see the 15-minute candle, we're rejecting this resistance right over here. And if we're rejecting this resistance, we have to manage our trade. So what we're going to do is we're going to close 50% right over here, because we don't know whether the next candle will go up or go down. So we got to manage our risk, right? So we closed 50% at this point. We closed 50% and we're leaving the rest running, right? Because we got to be cautious about this now. Oh wow, look at that. We broke below the 30-minute time frame. You see, that's why you manage your risk. Because we got stopped out. Uh-oh. See, so in this trade, we lost less than we planned to lose, which is why this is very, very important. Managing risk is extremely, extremely important. So the reason why we didn't add another position here is because the 15-minute closed bearish. We needed it to close in our favor so we could add another position at that point, right? But it didn't. So now we're stuck in this position right over here. This candle is also about to close over here now. 15 minute is weak, but we still continuing up. Yeah, we're still waiting for the 1 hour to close at this point, and we're going to see how we're going to close, and then we're going to identify what can happen next. So the 1 hour is about to close. There we go. 1 hour candle has closed. If we take a look on the 4 hour time frame, we can see 4 hour time frame is also closing above support. 1 hour candle is kind of closing above that, but it's kind of like tricky at that point. Looking on the 30 minute, now our bias was buys here, right? Our bias for buys. And I've always said that always aim to give your bias a second chance. And that's what we're going to do over here. Now, if price breaks below 136,700, obviously we can continue moving down. But at the same time, if this 30-minute candle starts breaking the highs around here, I think we can give our trade a second chance for price to continue moving bullish. And that's something I think we should kind of like wait for over here. I mean, that's something we can basically do, right? Give our trade a second chance. Oh, wow, look at that. So it's going to be giving our bias a second chance once we start breaking the highs over here. Because if you look at the time, we're moving into a high volume time at this point. Would you consider the 30-minute to be a fake out? No, there's no fake out at this point because, I mean, there's no fake out. We're still in a very, very tiny range. All right, look at that. The 30-minute candle still open over here. We're about to break the high, and I think it's going to be a pretty good indication to give a trade a second chance. There we go. We've broken the high over here. So this is the point where we can give our trade a second chance. So this is going to be an impulse entry. Now, remember we talked about this, that if we have a candle, it's respecting the low of the previous candle and it's breaking the high of the previous candle. That means there's a high probability for it to make a higher highs and higher lows. And if you look at the time over here, this is moving into the second half of the 30-minute candle. Someone is saying, why don't you do break and retest? Brother, if the market gives us a break and retest, we're going to do break and retest. We can't really grab the market by the throat and say, give us a break and retest. Why don't you give us a break and retest? We can't do that because it's not happening right now. So that's why we can't do break and retest. All right. So stop is going to be kept below the current candle around, let's say like 17 pips. We're going to use 1% risk over here. We're going to execute a buy position. And I mean, if it runs, but if it continues to retrace, and then kind of like we can manage our risk based on the 15-minute time frame. Traffic to the left is kind of meh. Yeah, that's why we're giving a trade a second chance, right? That's the only reason we're giving a trade a second chance. And if you look on the 30-minute time frame now, we look on the 1 hour. 1 hour is moving bullish, clean range. We got a wick to fill. Looking on the 30-minute time frame, we're closing bullish at this point. Closing bullish, closing above these candles here. This new 30-minute candle also has a high probability to continue moving up because also 4 hour is bouncing from a support here as well. How would you manage this trade? The only way we would manage this trade if the 15-minute candle closed bearish. But the 15-minute candle did not close bearish. It's still bullish. 30-minute candle is still bullish. We're already in this trade. 1 hour candle is also bullish. So there's a high probability for price to move. But bullish. Right? If the 30-minute candle comes down, that's totally fine. It's just making a lower wick unless it breaks the low of the previous 30-minute candle. If it doesn't break the low, then it's still pretty good. Would you add another position? No. We will not add another position because this is the second chance we're giving our bias over here. And we're only using like 1% at this time. So yeah, the new 15-minute candle is about to close at this point now. And the 15-minute candle is about to close. 15-minute candle has closed. Let's take a look at the 15-minute time frame. 15-minute candle is still bullish over here, which is pretty good, right? So we can't manage this trade either because this is where we're giving our trade a second chance. All right, we're moving up over here. Nice, beautiful. Beautiful. Look at that, 14 pips over here. So I think this is where we can close majority of our position here. So we're going to close like 90%. Actually, you know what? We're going to close our entire position. No, actually, let's just close 90%. I want to close the entire position because this is the second chance we're giving the trade. We're going to put our stops to break even, and that's it. So this is closer to NYSE volume, New York Stock Exchange volume. And if you look on the 1 hour time frame, we did fill the wick. We have clean candles here to the left hand side. And nice. So this is the new 1 hour candle forming at this point. If we get stopped out, we get stopped out, right? But if the price continues moving bullish, then oh, okay, we got stopped out. Perfect. Beautiful. Awesome. So it's 10 a.m. right now, right? So now we're going to move on to our next session, and that's going to be the last session here now. So, oh wow, look at that. Ranging. See that? Ranging. Volume dies and price starts to range. Let me take a sip of my green tea over here. Ah, yum, man. Green tea with honey, amazing. Why don't you put trend lines? Market move in waves, but it's kind of like respecting bullish structure. I don't use trend lines. Do you think we placed our stop too close? No, the stop loss was kept exactly where it was supposed to be kept. Okay, so this is London Open right now. This is London Open, and we're going to move on to pre-New York at this time. So 3 a.m., 4, 5, 6. This is 6 a.m. Eastern, right? It's a Friday. Normally, you shouldn't be taking any trades on a Friday, but if we see an opportunity, we're going to execute on that. But if you don't see an opportunity, it is what it is. Why don't you close 50% when it breaks the 15-minute on the bullish candles? Because we took the trade on the 30-minute time frame, and it was a second chance we were giving the trade. That's why I didn't close anything. All right, let's take a look at the weekly here. So weekly is still bullish at this point. Looking on the daily time frame, daily is still ranging, but the daily candle is kind of like, it's like in this, it's making its own, it's respecting its own resistance. It's kind of like becoming smaller and smaller. So whenever the candles start to become smaller and smaller, that usually means the volume is dying at that point. Let's take a look on the 4-hour time frame. 4 hours also ranging over here. We're ranging between 136,800 and 137,300. Also, we have a mini range over here forming at this time. Let's take a look on the 1 hour time frame. So the 1 hour time frame is very, very tricky at this point. Let's just remove all analysis from the 1 hour time frame and let's see what's going on. So we're going to remove all analysis here. Boom. Boom. So first of all, we have a resistance. Raja, make it do a fake out for the gulag so they know you're the GOAT. All right, we're going to try to make the price do a fake out. All right. So yeah, I don't know what's happening here on the 1 hour time frame. It's pretty scary over here. Okay, let's just let's copy all those zones to the 30-minute time frame. Clone to a 30-minute time frame right here. Okay, let's remove all these zones over here too. So during this whole simulation, we did really, really simple things. There was no complication. I waited for confirmations, waiting for price, and then executing on price, and that's all what we did over here. So looking on the 30-minute time frame, what we can identify is that there's a resistance up over here, right? And we kind of like broke below. I think we broke below the support, and we're creating a new support, which is down over here at this point, right here. And we also have some sort of a minor resistance forming right here. Now, if we're looking for a potential trading idea, the only trading idea I can see over here is that if we break above 137, let's say 137,100, we have this clean range for price to play in, right? This is going to be a trading range, and this is going to be a really messy trading range. And the reason why it's going to be a messy trading range is going to be because, we got wicks over here, wicks over here, wicks over here, and this is going to be a clean trading range because we got clean candles moving up. So I think on a Friday, all we're going to wait for is price to break above 137,100 so we can continue moving bullish in this range. That's the only thing we can see over here. But if price starts breaking down, then it is what it is. I mean, it's a very dirty range. Don't want to take a trade in a dirty range. I think much better trade should be taken in this range to the left-hand side. You see here, we got clean candles here to the left-hand side. So below this low, I think it's going to be a pretty good sells for price to continue down. So we'll have to wait. Okay, perfect. So let's just let this price play out, and then we're going to see what we can do at this point. So I think buys are going to be above this blue line, and sells, good sells, are going to be below this blue line right over here. Yeah, right now we're just ranging here. When do you know you need to wait for the price closing above or below versus an impulse entry? So based on this, if this 30-minute candle closes below, then I think that's going to be a good trade to take for price to continue moving down. But if it doesn't close below, then it is what it is. So right now we're just ranging over here. Now we're just waiting over here. What's this? We don't even have 1,000 likes over here. Come on, man. Don't be stingy about that. For buys, there are 3 price rejecting at mid level of that area. Should we consider that? I don't know. All I see is this clean candle here to the left hand side. That's it. That's all I see at this point. Oh wow, look at that. See, at this point, I think we need a candle to close above 137,100. If we don't get a candle closing above 137,100, then we can't really take any trade at this point. We need a candle to close above this area for price to continue up. Oh wow, look at what happened over here. Was this news? There was no news. Damn. See, that candle didn't even close above 137,100, and next candle just went down. Someone said enter sells. It's going to drop so fast. Yeah, this is why your consistency is lacking, Gabriel. Enter sell. I can't enter sells, man. Can't. You guys have to really manage your emotions. You need candles to close below this area. Now you see, now we need a candle to close below this area. I'm not doing anything at this point, man. This is a very, very high volatile candle. There's no idea what's happening over here. So we need this candle to close. This is an extremely high volatile candle over here. Volatile candles mean price don't know where to go, so you gotta wait. And you really gotta control your emotions. We're up 7% on a Friday. The reason why people lose money on a Friday is because they don't secure their weekly winnings. We're up 7%. So just fucking wait for your opportunity. See this? No candle closed above 137,100, but what it did was it created wicks over here, right? So now this gives us an opportunity. If price breaks above this wicks, then there's a high probability for it to continue up, right? If a candle closes below the support, let's say right over here, then we can take a sell for price to continue down to fill this wick and come down towards the support. That's it. Right now, it's extremely difficult. There's no trade over here. So you gotta calm your tits now and just wait. Let's look on the 1 hour time frame. Wow, look at that. Crazy. So we're just waiting. You just gotta wait. We get paid to wait, guys. You will get paid to wait in trading. Trust me on that. So you just gotta wait. This candle's about to close over here now. So basically, Software FX would let us know what works and what doesn't. Best for backtesting? Yes. I do this once a week. Sometimes twice a week, but mostly once a week I practice here. All right, perfect. Look what happened over here now, right? Look what happened. 30-minute candle closed bullish, right? Now, what do you think? If we break above these wicks with this 30-minute candle closing bullish, isn't that a good idea to take a buy, right? All we had to do was just wait. That's it. All we had to do was just fucking wait. Now we waited, and now we have something that makes sense. Before, nothing made sense. But now, things make sense. But if you executed on this candle, if you executed on this candle, if you executed on this candle and took losses, your confidence at this point would be so low that you wouldn't even be able to execute on a good buy because you just fucked everything up because you thought price was going to go up. You thought price was going to go down. Thinking doesn't make you money. Thinking will not make you money. Seeing what you believe is going to happen is going to make you money. So right now, we're just waiting at this point. Even though we can take a buy over here, having stops below the 30-minute candle, it's still going to be pretty risky at that point. So we have to wait for price to kind of break above these wicks for it to continue moving bullish. I mean, that's what basically I can see at this point. Oh, so we got to kind of make it less So also this is a, so okay, one more thing, really important thing, right? Look what happened here. Look at the time. This is 1500 hours. This means this is the NY Open at this point. If this is the NY Open over here, and we ranged through pre-New York, we ranged through, like, all this area right over here, and maybe this is the time when there's going to be volume in the market. And if there's going to be volume in the market, maybe now we need this candle to break above the highs to see that, okay, NY Open is now driving price up. So I guess we just gotta wait over here now. Oh, look at that, it's coming down. See that? Wow, look at that, man. We gotta wait for price to break above the high, and then we can take an impulse entry. It's very simple. We just gotta wait. Man, you guys should watch those National Geographic wildlife documentaries. Just watch how the lions wait. The hyenas don't wait. Hyenas just attack. And most of the times, hyenas get hungry. But lions, cheetahs, leopards, they all wait. They wait and then they strike at the right moment. Because if they don't strike at the right moment, they can go hungry for days. So that's why we're just waiting over here. So we're like the cheetahs. See, nothing is happening at this point. Either we break below for a sell or we break above the highs for a buy. That's it. That's it. That's the only thing we're waiting for over here. Look at Floyd Mayweather. The reason why he's the best, because oh wow, look at that candle. See, if someone took a buy over here, you got in a drawdown at this point. Let's take a look on the 1 hour time frame. 1 hour time frame. See now, the 1 hour candle is closing bullish. If this 1 hour candle breaks above the high, there's a very high probability we're going to continue moving bullish. No doubt in my mind. So you just gotta wait. Let's go back to a 30-minute time frame. Someone is saying I'm a donkey. That's another issue. All right. We just gotta wait to take a buy right here. Right here. This is our opportunity to take a buy at this point. Look at the 1 hour time frame. 1 hour hasn't really broken the high, but I do believe even if it hasn't broken the high, I do think this is a very good opportunity for price to move up. So this is what we're going to do. On the 30-minute time frame, we're going to execute a buy over here. Our stop is going to be around 10 pips over here. Pretty good stop loss. We're going to have a 10 pip stop. We're going to take a buy position, and perfect, man. And we're going to aim for price to continue moving bullish at this point. Let's do a 3% trade. No. It's a Friday. We can't do a 3% trade. Now look on the 1 hour time frame. We broke above the high on the 1 hour time frame. We have clean candles through the left-hand side. There's nothing that can stop this candle to continue down. If this candle goes down, then that's just probability not on our favor, right? But there's a very, very high probability for price to continue moving up, because also this candle has about 20 minutes left for it to close. So really high probability. Wouldn't you place stops below the previous candle? Yeah, we have stops below the 30-minute candle because we broke the high. It comes from the impulse entries methodology, basically. All right. So stop is 10 pips. We're running at about, candle's about to close. 15-minute candle's about to close. 15-minute candle has just closed. So let's take a look at the 15-minute time frame. Boom, look at that. 15-minute candle closed bullish, right? 30-minute candle still open. We're not looking at the 5-minute candles. We're only looking at the 30-minute, 1 hour, and sometimes 15-minute candle, right? Wow, look at that. 10 pips, 11 pips. Beautiful. Such a nice move over here. 9, 10, 12. I think at this point, we're going to secure around 80% right over here. Secured 80%. Close. Put stops at break even, and that's it. Let the rest run. See, price came towards resistance. We secured positions, and now you see we're going in a little bit of a drawdown. Price is retracing over here. So, you just got to secure positions and call it a day. Do you prefer to enter in 15-minute or 30-minute? I did everything I did over here. Everything I do over here is I do in the live market. There's nothing magical, or there's nothing hidden. This candle is about to close at resistance. There we go. Candle closed at resistance. So probably going to take all the profits over here and end the day at 8.8%, right? 8.8%. Why it took when break previous 30-minute high, not the 1 hour high? Because the 30-minute is still a higher confirmation time frame. This is why we took it on 30-minute time frame. And we also planned it based on the 30-minute here as well. With the impulse entries, you can click the three dots next to play. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know about this, so I still have to play around with this to see how this works. Reaching price here, okay. Makes sense. Thank you, thank you. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining in. Let's take a look at our stats over here. Let's go towards trades. Let's take a look at our stats, right? So if we look at our stats, what we did here today, I think we had one loss. Yeah, we had one losing trade right over here, closed by stop loss. We had one losing trade, and then we gave a trade a second chance, and that was a winning trade. And rest all were winning trades. Now, someone can say, oh, like, this can be faked. Man, trust me, last week I had 0 losses. So I did worse on the simulator than I did on the live market. Does Magic Keys work with simulator? No, they don't. So closed trades are right over here. PNL is right over here. Had one loss over here. Drawdown, you have drawdowns over here. No drawdown. One drawdown exceeded 18. I mean, that's where we got stopped out. Yeah, so look at this over here. Realized profit loss $400. Yeah, we made $400 in 1 week on a $5,000 account. 8% gain, right? One trade, literally one trade a day, 2% risk per trade, or sometimes 1% risk per trade, and nothing else, nothing more, right? Gross loss was $39. Largest profit was 162. Consecutive profit right over here. Look at the graphs right over here. Boom, up. This is where we had a little bit of a retest, some decline, and then we continued moving up, right? Awesome. Thank you everyone for joining in. Had a great time here today. Have a great weekend. We will see you guys tomorrow morning. Oh, also give a like on the stream. Take care.